I'm honored to have Representative Randy Fine join me. Welcome, Congressman.
Thanks for having me.
Some people dismiss the idea that children are being indoctrinated by foreign governments as a conspiracy theory. What's your response?
Well, they would be wrong. I mean, it's happening in multiple ways. If we talk in the K through 12 system, we've seen foreign actors purchase textbook companies and be very focused on the materials that go into classrooms. We've also seen terrorist fronts like CARE, which was just named by Texas and has previously been named by Florida as a terrorist organization, attempt to lobby for what goes into the schools. And then at the university level, we've seen countries like Qatar flood our university system with billions of dollars with a demand that we hire their professors and bring in their radical students in return for that money. This is a real problem that's affecting Americans right now.
That is just really frightening. What do foreign governments get by funding schools here in America? What is their end game?
Well, many of these governments want one of two things. One is they may hate Israel and they may hate Jews. And so they're trying to turn America against the state of Israel. They're trying to get Christians and Jews to fight against each other. That's one motive. There's a second motive. Many of these governments seek a worldwide Islamic caliphate. So they seek to conquer the United States. And so they are attempting to lay the groundwork for the conquest that they are talking about quite openly if you go to many mosques around the United States. And then the third group of foreign actors that are doing this simply want to create division within the United States. They want us to fight amongst ourselves in order to rip us apart. And that's what we can see largely coming from China. It's not so much that they care about these issues, they don't. It's that they care about finding things to wedge Americans against each other.
Well, we have seen a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism at the university level, often folded in as anti-Zionism. How much of this is organic, and how much is the result of foreign influence, in your opinion?
Sure. Well, very little of it is organic, and we've learned that in a big way this last week. So a lot of this anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism presents itself on social media. And with Elon Musk and X making the decision to reveal where these accounts come from, what we've learned is the vast majority of anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-Semitic accounts that claim to be in the United States or frankly claim to be in Israel or in places like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and India and all over the world that are literally just paid actors. Very little of this is real. And we can see this at the universities when they do these protests and they round people up and they find that many of the people aren't involved in the university. They aren't from the United States. The problem is they are brainwashing some of our young people. And that is something that we have to be concerned about.
You know, what accountability should exist for universities that receive federal funds, especially around diversity, curriculum, or woke ideologies?
Well, my solution, I have a two-part solution to this. Number one is that we demand that our universities treat anti-Semitism the same way they treat racism. We don't have widespread racism problems at our universities because for 50, 60 years, universities and their conduct codes and their speech codes have regulated it to make their universities safe for black students. We need those same codes applied to Jewish students. That will solve a lot of the problem. The second thing we need to do is that we have to require that American universities serve Americans. These universities like to claim that they're private institutions, but the fact of the matter is they are dependent on federal largesse, whether it is student loans or grants or other forms of federal funding to stay in existence. And we need to say to these universities, if you're going to expect the federal government to keep in business, 90% of your students need to come from the United States. These two things will solve most of the problem.
Well, you graduated from Harvard. What's your opinion of that school now, and has its reputation, along with other Ivies, been permanently tarnished?
Well, it's definitely been challenged. And look, I've been meeting with the president of Harvard permanently because you should understand, I only went to one institution of higher education. I went to Harvard and I went there twice. And it fundamentally took a kid from Kentucky and made me the person that I am today. I'm incredibly grateful to the institution. But while it was liberal when I was there, I never once felt unsafe as a Jew. Never one time in the 6 years I studied there. That's not the case today. And so I have been talking to Harvard and working with Harvard to say they have an obligation to keep Jewish students and American students safe. Is their reputation tarnished from what has happened over the last few years? Absolutely. Do they have the chance to redeem themselves? I do think they have that opportunity. The question is, are they going to take it?
Well,